Alrighty, welcome to another episode, guys. Today we'll be replacing the oil pressure sensor on this Nissan. Pretty easy process. All that we need is a 1/2-inch drive ratchet here, a 27mm socket, a 22mm socket also, and I'll show you in a couple moments why you need these two in this case. Also get yourself a oil drain pan and also a couple of rags just to clean up. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's begin.
Alright, so once you have the vehicle secured on, in this case, a jack stand and a jack as well, right here we have the oil pan. And on this Maxima, it's very easy to find. This is in fact the lead or the wire running to the oil pressure unit here. Excuse me, and an easy way to find it, of course, here's your oil filter. This again is your oil pan. This is where you drain the oil. And if you take a look right up here, it's obviously leaking quite bad, so this really needs to be replaced. So the first step is we need to, of course, remove this lead, and it's so darn dirty it's very hard for you to see, but right here, I mean, this rubber boot is essentially disintegrated. I really need to replace this. But right here there's a prong. You push in the prong, it's on my thumb, and then you just pull off the harness. And also what I'm going to do off camera is I'll clean up this lead right here, but this is where the unit is located, so we need to remove it. Now in this case, this happens to be a 27mm or a 7/8 of an inch socket. You can't really use anything else but a socket, and make sure you have a deep socket as well, because a short socket won't work, like so. This happens to be a 27mm 1/2-inch drive. So we'll remove the old unit, install the new one, and we'll be in good shape. And real quick before we begin, just make sure you place an oil pan, a drain pan, right underneath, because oil will come out when the sensor is removed. And let's go ahead, let's do it. Let's remove the sensor here. Again, this is a 27mm. This vehicle, make sure it's on there securely. And really it's not hard to remove, and that should be good enough to remove it by hand. I'm just going to back up here for a little bit. Center my drain pan. Just take it out slowly here. And not a lot of oil will come out, but regardless it will. And of course, here's our old sensor. And real quick, what I'll do is I'll just clean it up here. And if anyone is curious out there, this car has about 153,000 miles. My guess is it's probably the original sensor that we removed. Alright, so now we have the new sensor. Here it is. This happens to be a 22mm size in this case. The old one, if you recall, is 27. In this case, this is 22, so just make sure you have the correct sockets before you do this job, because you don't want to jack up the car, get on your back, and then find out that you don't have the right sockets. So just double check when you do this on your vehicle, make sure you have everything beforehand. And also one thing to note, if you take a look on the threads, there's a thread lock on there. Make sure, Teflon tape, and this came right from the factory, so just make sure you put a little bit of Teflon tape. If you don't have it, if the sensor doesn't have the Teflon on there, just go ahead and put a little bit on. This helps ensure that when you install the sensor, it won't leak. So just make sure it's on there, and then we'll go ahead and just reinstall it right back onto the vehicle. You know, these cars today can really last for a very, very long time, as long as you maintain them. And that's really the key. And then just go ahead and reinstall the new sensor here. And grab your socket and your ratchet. And then of course don't forget the electrical connection. And just go ahead, plug that in here. That's it. Now the rubber piece, if you notice, it just completely ripped off. So what I'll do is, off camera, I'm going to just wrap around the sensor, and then I'll just put a zip tie around it, You know, that way it protects the connection here.
And of course, don't forget to reinstall any oil that we lost. So let's go ahead and do that. And then of course, we're in good shape. And that's really about it, guys. Any questions, concerns, please leave it below. And we'll see you next time.